everybody, and welcome to Wreckwatch TV. That's Chris Atkins.
And that's Sean Kingsley.
And it's that time of year again when we're all starting to wind down and people are ending their projects offshore. And, you know, down the months, Chris, we get sent so much information and so much trails of, hey, we found this amazing discovery, you know, what do you think? And now it's time for us to kind of crunch it all together. And people are always asking us, say, hey, you know, come on, what's the coolest thing that you think has been discovered in 2022? So, you know, this year we're going to go, drum roll, please. Silent drum roll. We're going to go for the 2022 top shipwreck Oscars of the year.
This is exciting, Sean. This is exciting because I can't believe how many things have been discovered and uncovered and rediscovered and all of that kind of stuff. This has been a great year for underwater exploration.
And it really is. It's a golden age for exploration and discovery. And you think just a year ago, you know, we were all cowering under our desks for killer COVID. And, you know, things have bounced back amazingly. So, you know, let's jump straight in, shall we, Chris?
Yes, let's do it.
The top treasure discovery of 2022 is a vast Spanish galleon in the Bahamas that was going between Cadiz and the Americas, as all these treasure ships of Madrid and Spain did, hoovering up the goodies and the treasure, the gold, silver, emeralds of the Americas to bring them back. And this ship was a bit cursed. It was called the Nuestra Señora de las Maravillas.
Wow.
But the thing about this is no one really knows what was on the Maravillas. You've got two cargoes, but also you've got this thing which it's an open secret that Spain, its captains, the merchants, everyone was in on contraband.
That's right.
Contraband could be like, it could be like 20-30% above the manifest, or it could be like 200-300%. So that's the question of what was on the ship and what's left. So congratulations to Allen Exploration, treasure wreck of the year.
When it comes to shipwrecks and what was discovered this year, you know, we have to look at what was, you know, the Mission Impossible, a shipwreck that is in one of the most difficult places on Earth to find a shipwreck and let alone identify it. So this year's top Mission Impossible shipwreck has to go to the Endurance.
Yeah, and I think well deserved. You know, the Endurance, of course, was the flagship of Sir Ernest Shackleton, who was one of the great heroes of the golden age of polar exploration. Rah, God save the king and all that stuff. To be honest with you, I don't really like ice archaeology. You know, it's too cold, it's too icy, it's too difficult. But
well,
you know,
I can tell you, I live in Canada, and I do some ice diving, and I have to tell you, while I will ice dive, it's not my first choice. But the ice.
Give me the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, nobody has been there. I mean, how many ice wrecks do we know? Maybe less than 10. You know, I guess they really didn't know what they would find, or could they get there? I mean, it really was Mission Impossible. And of course, they famously went down in 2019 with a big project, some serious kit, and found it very difficult to get through the ice and lost one of their AUVs, automated underwater vehicles, which is quite a lump of change.
Yes, leaving that kind of stuff behind, you know, you don't want to do that too often. Your investors eventually start to get a little wary.
Well, and also, you know, it just shows how difficult this stuff is. The sea just makes fools of we mortals. You know, they went back this year. They didn't make it easy with themselves because they had a huge TV crew with them.
Yes.
And there'd been a lot of media interest. So, you know, the stress and the expectations were incredibly high. And tick-tock, 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 the weeks went by. And, you know, we weren't hearing anything through the grapevine. I thought, they haven't done it, you know. And I heard it was right at the end of the project.
Next up, we have the winner for the top technology. This goes to the deepest wreck found to date, the Samuel B. Roberts. This is an amazing shipwreck. The Samuel B. Roberts was lost during World War II in a sea battle off the Philippines. This being the deepest wreck found to date is an amazing feat. The amount of water that you have to cover, first of all, the area to find it, and then the depth to get your equipment down and to be able to identify such a shipwreck is truly an amazing feat. So hats off to you, Victor, and your team for being able to find such a deep wreck.
And I think what's also, it's not just amazing and it's good imagery and it's the world's deepest wreck, which are all very cool things. It's actually really important, you know, because they've got this baseline video and imagery. They've given it to the Navy. And in that part of the world, there's a real problem with the kind of looting and salvaging of these massive World War II ships of 10,000 tons for their steel value. Teams go back there in the future, you know, they can monitor it and they can whistleblow if needs be, and let's hope that's not the case. So congrats to big time to Victor Vescovo, Caladan Oceanic, and Triton Submersibles, who provided the kit to make Mission Impossible for the technology.
Great job, team.
Top time capsule of 2022 is the Yangtze 2 shipwreck down in Shanghai. Now, this isn't a particularly early shipwreck. It's third quarter of the 19th century, which is the Qing dynasty. But what's really cool of this is it was stuck in the mud. So this is a time capsule. The whole ship is still preserved there for something like 38 meters long. And they found in there by looking at multi-beam that there's still 31 cabins where people lived and stored and whatever. But because there's really bad visibility, and it's inundated by mud, but it's in a kind of a shipping route, which is dangerous, you know, they want to get it out of the way. Now, in a lot of countries, splatter, you know, navigation comes first, bye-bye shipwreck. But, you know, to their credit for the Chinese, they've said, no, we're not going to do that, and we're not going to dig it. We're going to lift the whole thing.
I mean, this really could have been a competitor for the top technology for this year as well. The way they built that around and lifted the entire section out so that they can dig it afterwards. Unbelievable. I mean, we've seen this on a much, much smaller scale in Israel with the Galilean boat. You know, back in the 80s, our good friend Kurt and his team were able to do something similar on the hull of a boat that was preserved in mud, but without the technology, without all of the big extras and the money to be able to do such a project like this. But of course, you know, a much smaller boat. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing what they discover inside all of that mud. All right, Sean, here we have the final category. This one is the top unsung heroes, and it's kind of in your backyard, at least from my perspective. This one's pretty close to you.
Yeah, you're not wrong. This is a story about a group working off the east coast of England, off Norfolk in England, and you know, they were divers, and their parents were divers, and they've got.
They're brothers, right? They're brothers.
That's right. Yeah, this is Julian and Lincoln Barnwell and their good friend James Little, and they've got everything from intact pottery to glass bottles, you know, with wine still intact with seals on it. And you just don't see stuff like that. It is, you know, it is fair to say, and this is not being sensationalist, it is the most important shipwreck found off the UK since the Mary Rose.
Wow. That is a big, big statement right there. I loved reading about the Duke of York and the relationship he had with the captain and maybe the influence that he had. That was just a small taste. You got me hooked when I read that article. There's so much history there.
What I love about this story as well is, you know, this is an Oscar for unsung heroes shipwreck, but actually it would make a really good Hollywood film as well, right? Because the color is just amazing. The combination of the history and the exploration and the archaeology.
There's so many stories to be told. There's so much for us to learn from these shipwrecks.
So congratulations, Julian, Lincoln, and James, and carry on doing what you're doing, and we'll see you next year.
So if you've not heard the story of the HMS Gloucester, then make sure that you head on over to wreckwatchmag.com and read the issue, the article that Sean has published in there. It is truly amazing. It's just fascinating. I love it. Thanks, Sean. Thank you so much for putting this list together and for all that you do at wreckwatchmag.com. And make sure you subscribe to the magazine. Make sure you subscribe to this channel right here because we have a lot of amazing stories and content coming out soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's discovered this coming year in 2023.
Thank you so much for all your support, and carry on reading and carrying watching Wreckwatch TV, and please subscribe and tell your friends and hit the notification bell. And you know, Chris, why do we do all this?
Well, Sean, we do all of this because deep down we care.